All right, we are here with the head coach of the Canton Eagles, Coach Heath Ragle. Coach, how are we doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about last season. The Canton Eagles went 8-3, made it to the bi-district round of the playoffs, and that was your third year there. So the 7 wins combined in the first 2 seasons, rattled off 8 wins last year. So talk to me a little bit about last season.
It was just really a great season. It was fun for our seniors. They had been through most of the kids that started as sophomores for us over there in that tough district with Carthage and guys out east, and so they'd been through a lot of growing pains. Just to see them get rewarded as seniors, well deserved. We felt like we had a tough group of guys and disciplined group of guys, and just to see them get off and winning breeds winning. We started winning games and played really well on defense and kept us in a lot of those games. And the kids started figuring it out as we got going. It was just kind of a fun year all around season for us.
Well, and like I said, that was your third year there. So what was the biggest difference you think from that first year that you took over the program to last year? What's the biggest difference that you've noticed?
I think just the stability, consistency, not only the coaching staff, but the kids, they know what to expect day in and day out from us. And just the work put in, man. Our kids have came a long way in the weight room the last 3 years, the track program, things that I feel are important for us to be good in Canton. They figured that out, and they know you're able to kind of stack things on top of things year after year that these kids haven't heard. It's not the first Friday night to play in anymore. And now our young guys have built off what these seniors have done. They saw them do it. They've had great mentors for them. It's a testament to our kids keep believing themselves. They didn't let the 3-win season before phase, and we lost a bunch of close games that year before. It was either 3 or 4 5 to 6 point under games. We felt like the year before we could have been 6-4 possibly. And our kids learned from that and really kind of built into this last season for us.
Well, now going into this next year, you lost a lot of kids. You got 3 starters coming back on offense, 2 starters coming back on defense. Like you talked about, the seniors last year led that group and really had a special season. But with not as many people coming back, what's the focus on this upcoming season?
Our focus really just has been showing up day in and day out, putting in the work, controlling what we control. And, that for us, that's our effort and our attitude and showing up. We've had the best summer we've had in my time here by far. Kids have shown up consistently. We've had a good 7-on-7, played really well. And we won on our freshman level. Guys, I think they lost 1 game on the season, or sorry, won 8 games. They're 8-2, and then our JV was 8-2. So we feel like we have good young kids coming up there that are ready to compete for varsity spots. We will be really young. I think we started 1 junior last year. That was it. So we'll have some guys as seniors this year that will have to start. We'll have some young kids, some sophomores that will need to come and start and be really good players for us early. But we feel like our kids are kind of learning how to win. So we feel like we can still do that. We're going to be really competitive.
Well, and that's kind of the fun part too, right? They don't know what they don't know. So if you got those young kids coming up there varsity, they may ball out and then not even know the difference right there. Now I want to talk a little bit about the district. You kind of we spoke about it last year. It was a very tough competitive district: Sunnyvale, Quinlan Ford, Ferris, Wills Point, Kemp. Talk to me about your expectations on the district this upcoming year.
Well, I think, obviously our district, you look back at it and you go, Sunnyvale right now, everybody's got to be the top one that people would have to really play well to beat. They got a lot return. Their quarterback's probably one of the best in East Texas. They definitely got the most stripes on the wall, and we played them, last year going to their place for a district title at their place. So, hopefully that would be for us. We play really well and get to that game again at our place this year would be ideal for us. And you start off the first district game though with Wills Point, in a rivalry game. And last year they got us in overtime, and hats off to them guys. They played really well that night, and they made the plays down the stretch to beat us. So that'll be a tough one at their place, and a good Van Zant County rivalry that got renewed last year. So it was a packed house. I expect the same thing this year. And then we got Kemp followed by that. And I know they're kind of coming up and trying to meet the numbers. Coach Ryder does a good job with those guys. And then a huge game with Ferris, super athletic. Ferris was really young last year, had a bunch of sophomore starters. So they got a ton of guys back this year and extremely athletic. So we'll have them in our place. And then Quinlan Ford was just an absolute boxing match between us and them last year. I think it's 14-7. We played really, really well on defense. They were really good on defense, and it was just old school smash mouth. football with both teams running about 95% of the time at each other. So I expect nothing less than that. We go to Quinlan's a tough place to win, and Coach Wallace does a good job with them guys.
Man, I was you when you were talking about that, I went back and looked at some of the scores because I was remembering that the defense last year was lights out majority of the season. So I know you're a defensive guy. So how special is that when you see the defense like that, pitching shutouts consistently and lowering winning games where you only score 14 points and you can still win those games? How important is that to you?
We just really grew. We felt the year before we were pretty good on defense. It didn't always mean that we finished drives off and won some of those close games. So we felt like we were going to be pretty good. And then next thing you know, man, our guys start playing really well. And I think at one point, going through 5 or 6 games, Texas football had us as number one in the state for like points per game. It was like 4 points a game. So then at that point, our kids got to, man, when they give us a score, like we were shocked. Like, how do we give them a score? But that's what you want. You want your kids to. And in this day and age, you'll see a lot of teams, man. They want to win games 60-something to 50-something. That's not my style at all. I'd much rather win 14-7. And I know some guys, I feel like, man, they'd rather score points than win games. That's not us. I want to win the game, how many points that takes, and let's hold them to it. And I told our defense last year, man, you got to have the expectation. You want to try to shut people out consistently. I think once we started preaching that to them, they really bought into, man, you can still play good defense in this era that a lot of people think you can. If you're sound, you do your job as a team, and we talk about the team's more important than any individual and doing their part. And our guys in Canton really bought into that last year, and I think they'll do the same this year.
Yeah, and you seem like the type of coach to me that you get a safety and win 2-0, you are thrilled about it. That would
And
be
it's a win. My Canton faithful fans, my offensive guys from the glory days that Canton scored a ton of points, they might not like it, but if it's a win, baby, I'm sleeping well at night.
I hear that. It's all about the W in the win column at the end of the day. Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time and talking to us today. Best of luck to the Eagles this season. Hopefully, we'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you, Cal. Thank you for having me on. We'll see you, buddy.
Absolutely. We'll see you, Coach. Thanks.